Okay, the church, homosexuality, and political correctness. Alright, let's start with a discussion of what religion is about. I don't care the religion. It doesn't have to be Christianity. It could be any religion you choose to pick. Most every religion has guidelines, instructions on how to live your life well, how to live properly, how to live healthy lives. All religions, no matter how large or small, have this characteristic. Now, society has something that does the same thing. It's called political correctness. Political correctness tells you what is expected of you in society, what you should talk about, what you shouldn't talk about, what thoughts are acceptable and what thoughts are unacceptable, what words are acceptable and what words aren't acceptable. And it gives you a guideline to how to live a good life as seen through the eyes of political correctness. Now, political correctness is not written down in stone. It changes as society goes along, so you have a bit of diversity involved there, and it can change as time passes by. But with each change, you always have people who are left outside of the framework of political correctness, and this is where the conflict between religion and political correctness or society come into play. Religion is fairly stagnant. It doesn't change quickly to match the whims of society. Many times, and the religions that have doctrine or written beliefs are less likely to change than those who are simply verbal beliefs, because the written word can't be altered. It says what it says. So you have a dichotomy. Let's say the political correctness, which at one point was matched up with religion, goes steering off to the left. Religion can't take that turn. Not very easily. So you get some people kind of get pulled away from religion, or some religious groups become watered down, and they start, because they're given a choice. Follow what our doctrine says or follow what society says. And when you're given that choice, there's a blending. There's some people who say, well, I'll take a little bit of societies, and mostly religion. And then you have others who say, I'll take a lot of society and very little of the religion. So you end up with a range of religions, from those who are true to their original doctrine to those who have become something else, a mixture between society and religion. And on the far end screen you have those who aren't really a religion anymore, that are more just political correctness and society tools with the trappings or names of religion, but no doctrine. And this is the nature of it. Now, the thing with political correctness is it's constantly changing. It is constantly shifting. Each generation throws it off in another direction. There's where you have the time. That's why you can have times where religion is seen as being bad, to times when religion is seen as being good, based entirely on the whims of whatever the status of society is at that moment, as portrayed by what they think is politically correct at that moment. Now, that's why you have a situation now where currently there's a lot of antagonism against a lot of the doctrinal based religions. There is currently a big movement towards the sensation religions, the feeling religions, any kind of religion that just goes on, do you feel good, love and fluff and merriment. Now, this is where two terms that are often heard of today come into play: conservative versus liberal. Now, conservative means not to change. You are conserving something. Liberals tend to liberate or to create change. The end result is you have these two camps best described. The conservatives currently best describe the religious stands, the doctrinal religions right now. The liberal name best describes the political correctness right now. If it was to switch the other way around, if political correctness was to go to the right of religion, then religion would be the liberal, Orthodox religion would be the liberals, and political correctness would be the conservatives. But this state of affairs is currently that Orthodox religion and doctrinal religions that keep to their doctrine are called conservative, and liberals are the ones who basically ignore the doctrine or throw it away in the preference of what is politically correct today. Now, why can't religion change? On a very basic level, religion is not there to serve man. Religion is there to serve, ultimately, God, or Creator. At least most of them are. And society today, and culture today, really doesn't add into the equation all that much. So if society has changed to say that what religion is saying you should or shouldn't do is unacceptable to society, then that religion's put in a tough spot. That religion is in a position where it either gives up God in the name of pleasing society, in which case they really didn't have faith in the first place, or they maintain their faith and be called all sorts of names by society who are upset with them taking whatever position they're in. Now, on the issue of homosexuality and religion, in the Jewish, Orthodox Jewish, if you read the Torah and Talmud, homosexuality is not supported by that. If you read the Bible, it's not supported by that, and if you read the Quran, it's not supported by that either. These are doctrines set forth in those religions. These religions, for those who follow the doctrine, cannot alter to meet society's whims, no matter how much society would want them to alter the doctrine. To do so, you could basically, don't get me wrong, you'll get people who will leave it, but they can't alter the doctrine. They basically ignore the doctrine, downplay it, or basically throw it away, in which case they're essentially worshiping society, not their ideas of God and what God wants for them, because the words inside their doctrine have not changed. And this is ultimately where the collision between these two forces take place. And there's always yelling about it. Now, the big problem I have is both sides can't really share very well the society. For the homosexual, they want to create a society in which homosexuality is considered normal, natural, by everybody. And those who reject it are treated much like, well, the Ku Klux Klan is treated today. You know, they're hate mongers, they're vicious, they're watched by the government and monitored because they might do something mean to somebody. If they speak out too much, they get banned, so on and so forth. Even though these groups simply say it's a sin, they don't actually advocate physical harm to homosexuals. They just say it's a sin, and they don't want their children taught that it's not a sin. Or have their schools teaching that to believe otherwise is to be a bigot and hateful, hate-mongering group. They are trying to defend their faith. So for them, they are acting in a lot of times in a totally defensive manner. But by defending themselves, the homosexual advocacy groups think they're attacking the homosexuals, because the homosexuals' goal is to alter society, and these guys' goal is not to be altered. Now on the homosexual side, they want to alter society because they don't like where they were before. They don't like being considered abnormal. They don't like being considered outside of society. So the end result is you have them thinking they're acting defensively by altering society to totally welcoming them. But unfortunately that means that they will have to drag the other people into the closet from which they left. In other words, they have to make the other group the outcast. And the other group doesn't want to be made into the outcasts. So you have this conflict that there's very little middle ground for. And this is the reason why it has to be solved by democratic vote. And although both sides will continue to be vocal on their issue, It has to be resolved by the people, because it's ultimately a social issue. It's an internal, inside society issue. That's where I am. That's where the nature of the problem is. There you have it. Thank you very much, and God bless.